Blitz on Cartooning is funded in part by Koenig Art Emporium, with 120 stores selling traditional art supply product lines, children's supplies, original and reproduction art and gifts for the creative shopper, as well as a complete in-store custom framing facility. Koenig Art Emporium is where creative people shop.
Hi, I'm Bruce Blitz, and welcome to Blitz on Cartooning. Now today, I'd like to show you how to draw cartoon animals. And I'm sure that most cartoonists would agree that drawing cartoon animals is a blast, because animals go everywhere, and it's just funny to see them in human situations, thinking and reacting like we do. And to draw cartoon animals is really easy. It's just a matter of starting with the same simple shapes that we do when we draw cartoon people. You ready? All right, grab a pencil and let's draw cartoons. Now first, let's draw a cartoon horse. I'm going to start by laying out some simple shapes. That's his head. And I'm going to make a shape like that for his neck, and a big circle like that for his back end. And all we have to do is connect these shapes like that. And let's put in his legs. Now let's have his back legs coming forward like that, with triangle like that for his hoofs, front legs going back, and a couple more triangles. And his tail will go out that way. Now, by the way, I'm using an HB pencil for this one. An HB refers to the softness of the lead, and an HB is about like a number 2 school pencil that we see every day. Okay, now let's go back and put some details in his face. Put some guidelines in. I'm going to wrap these guidelines around that shape as if it's a 3-dimensional object, and it has roundness. Now let's put in his eyes, two U's like that, like his eyes are down and his eyebrows are up. It looks very self-satisfied. And a big dot like that for his nostril, and a line around the top of his nostril like that. And a big old smile, and a lower lip, and a chin, and a jaw. Put his ears in, just 2 lines like that, up, down, and some loose lines like that for hair between them. And for his mane, which is sticking straight out because he's running real fast. Be loose, get that spontaneous look to your work. You don't want to get that tight look. Okay, now, let's continue on and draw the back end. Let's darken in this a little bit and have his back leg coming forward. And about halfway up, you make a bubble like that for his knee. And the other side, a bubble going back like that. Some hair. And his hoof. It would definitely behoove you to listen to this. All right. Sorry about that. Let's do his front legs, going back like this. And more of those bubbles for his knees. Make them real funny. Now, actually, dogs run like this with their front legs going back and their back legs coming, forward like that. But this is a cartoon, and you can get away with things like this, even though a horse doesn't run this way. And so his tail goes off that way. All right, now I'm going to go back in with a marker or a pen. You can use a pen. Now, the marker selection is vast in art stores, so I suggest you go there and experiment as to which one you like best. Different thicknesses and different flexibilities, and the selection's really endless. Now what I'm doing is going right over my pencil lines with my marker and refining a little bit as I go. And you can do your pencil lines as tight as you want, make many erasures if you want, because get it as nice and clean, or keep it loose. I like to keep it loose and then sort of ink my way into something clear. And you go on and on, nice thick and thin line like that. Now I'm not going to ink the whole thing in right now. I'm going to take my eraser, which is a kneaded rubber eraser, which is like a piece of clay, and erase some of these pencil lines and see what happens. The pencil lines leave and the ink lines stay. And I'm going to show you a completed version of this horse running, just because of time's sake. There it is. Look at that. It's great. Now let's add some cartoon effects and accessories. Now, cartoon effects and accessories are those little extra doodles around the drawing that really add punch to your drawing. Let's put a shadow in right about here. Looks like he's running off the page. And let's put a ground line in. Some sweat, because he's running so fast. And of course, some speed lines like that, like he's really covering some ground. Real loose, like clouds of smoke. Some circles, like he's kicking up dust. Some lines like that, like he's reaching. Maybe a mountain in the background. Maybe put a little quick color into him. I'll put some green for the grass. Some blue in the background for some sky. Some brown mountain. Let's make him a Mustang. And he's running to the corner malt shop where there's other horse friends because he's a Mustang and he must hang somewhere. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Let me show you just how easy it is to take a simple circle and a triangle and turn it into a shark. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Like an oval, really. And here's a triangle. And about 3/4 of the way up that oval, let's make a smile line like that and come around like that. Now take our eraser, go in here and erase this line. And you see what you've created is the jaws of death. Here is what you have. Now I'm going to go finish this with my marker, go direct here. And a big circle right about there. And an eye looking downwards like that. And he's mean, so let's have his eyebrows going down. And let's thicken up this line a little bit. Come back around. Let's give him a fin. A back fin, come around like this. Darken in this. A couple of lines like that where his smile goes up into his cheek. Darken all this in. Now for the main event, the teeth and a tongue. And let's sort of put some black inside of his mouth. And this indicates that his head is turned a little bit. And let me put a little color into him real quickly. Make him a blue shark. Maybe a red tongue. Now, even though that fish is by himself, he is not a loan shark. So let's add one more element to this drawing to make it expressing a funny idea, which is what the definition of a cartoon is. Now, it's not going to be so funny for this little fish, though. Start with a little diamond shape like that, and another triangle. And a circle up here, and a dot, and his eyebrows up. And we've got a real well-meaning little fish here with a smile on his mouth. And some fins, a wavy line there. Some scales, maybe. Some bubbles up here. Maybe even a caption. And you can go back in as much detail as you like on this. Maybe a line on the top like he's underwater. Maybe some brown or green on the bottom for bottom of the ocean. It goes on and on. You can add as much detail as you like, but that's how you draw a funny shark. Oh, I got a great one to draw. Let's draw a funny snake, and this is going to be a quickie. In fact, it's going to be so quick that I'm going to do a couple of them, and I'm going to show you something you can do to help your cartooning. Let's start with a shape like this for his head, just like we did with the horse before. Now, real loosely, make these lines like that, go up, come back the same way. Don't even stop. Just keep on going. And that's your snake. Now let's put some detail in it. You just want to keep the momentum going. You know, if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. You start again. I start over tons and tons of times, make a lot of erasing, a lot of changes, but that's how you learn. You just got to stick with it and make them a rattlesnake up there. Remember this, if you even have a little bit of talent, but you practice hard, you'll do much better than a lazy person that has tons of talent. Okay, let's go back and put some detail on his face now. Let's have him looking at us. 2 circles, and this one here is a little bit behind, so you don't see the whole circle. Make his eyes half closed, kind of looking at us, real sneakily. There you go, and his eyebrows are down. 2 dots for his nose, a big smile like that because he's sinister, and his tongue. And a sound effect, S, S, S. And that's how you spell that. And a lot of cartoonists usually leave out that center S. I don't understand it, but all right. That's how you draw a snake. Now let's draw another one, and I'm not going to put a whole lot of detail in the second one, but I just want to show you a little trick. There's the second snake. Okay, let's put a face on him, though. Okay, now, on this snake here, if we put that shadow line touching the bottom bumps of him like that, touching him, a couple of lines like this indicating he's slithering along, not going very fast. But if we move down to this snake here and make that shadow with a little bit of space between, like that, with some speed lines, it looks like he's going real fast. Some sweat coming out of him. And look what just a little bit of space between the cartoon and the shadow does. Makes it look like it's running off the page. All right, let's move on. Now, did you ever hear people say that people look like their pets? Or is it the other way around? Well, it doesn't matter, because on this show, we're out to prove that that is definitely true. And this is so much fun to do. You can draw along with me on this one. Let me draw with my marker. Let's take a shape like this, which is like a square, a little bit bent like that. Okay, now let's make another one down here. This is going to be a dog and his master. It's going to be a Scotty dog. Now, about 3/4 of the way up here, let's put a circle. And let's have him looking at us. So you make a dot like that with a little bit of white space there, make that highlight. And he's a Scottish dog, so let's give him big, heavy eyebrows like that. And a bag under his eye. And about down here, let's just chop that off a little bit and make his nose. And sort of fluff it out a little bit as well. And leave some white space. And blacken all this in. Let's make a smile coming out of the bottom of his nose. Just like that. Some whiskers. And let's double that line. And let's give him a beard. Just like that. And some ears, which are just 2 loose lines like that with some funny hairs in the center. And here's his neck. And maybe some fur. And there he is, a Scotty dog. Now let's move down to the bottom drawing and do his master, which is really going to look exactly the same, except for a couple changes. Let's make that circle halfway up, a little bit more than halfway up, and have him looking at us, just like that. And here's his heavy eyebrows. Now, we can't actually give him the same kind of nose, but we can sort of fake the action by doing one of these. Have his nose coming up, put his nostril down here, and the line around the nostril. And by the way, the technical name, the medical name for that line around the nostril is the line around the nostril. I don't know. I don't know why they never named that, but let's put a goatee on him to match his dog's, and a smile can look the same. Whiskers can look the same. And now, we can't put the ears like that, but we can put hair sticking up like that to sort of simulate that same shape. And his realistic ear would be down here. And there it is. Dog and his master. Let's add one more element to this. Let's have a pipe coming from his mouth. Up from the dog's mouth. This is Cartoon World, folks. There you go. A couple of dots like that, like this. Ashes coming out. Cartoon effect and accessory. And there it is. This next was my favorite drawing to do of a dog and his master. And I'm going to use a gray marker just to make some shapes here. Let's start with a square that gets a little narrower at the top, like that. That's for the dog, and this is for the master. That's all. Now let's go in and put some detail in the dog's face, and it's going to be a bulldog. And they just have the greatest faces to draw because there's so much you can do with them. About 3/4 of the way up, let's put a square and blacken it in. That's his nose. Leave that little white space. That's very important. And let's give him sort of a scowling smile like that, with his lip and teeth. And jowls coming around like that, one on each side and one around each side of his mouth, and a chin. And if you notice, I don't connect the lines. You don't have to do that. It just creates a little more interest in your cartoon when you don't make everything so perfect. Some dots like that for his whiskers. Now for his eyes. Watch this. An oval that you don't finish on the bottom. And instead of dots for the eyes, let's make lines like that. And let's make them uneven like that. It makes it a little funnier if you stagger them. Let's have his eyebrows down because he's mad. And he's mad because he's got these funny looking ears. I don't know why a bad dog like this has got such dainty ears, but he does. All right, now let's put his, maybe a collar in, which has spikes on it, because he's a bulldog, and it's a law you have to name your bulldog Spike. Now let's put his body in like this, and let's make him bow-legged, like that, and let's put his feet facing in, and you might see a little bit of his back leg in there, and maybe his other one coming out the side, and that's all there is to it. Now let's go back and draw his master. All right, and he looks about the same as his master. Now, we can't give master a black nose like we couldn't before with the Scotty, but we can give him sort of a squarish pug with a couple nostrils on the bottom like that. Same mouth and the same kind of lip. We can't give him pointy teeth, but we can give him human teeth like that. And we can give him jowls just like that. And a couple lines like that around his mouth. And here's his chin. Let's give him some whiskers. Same kind of shape for his eyes. And let's put his eyes in. Same eyebrow. So far, it's pretty much the same. We can't do the ears like that either, but we can simulate that same shape with this hair. Nice haircut. And that's why he's so mad. All right. All right, now let's go back and put in his body. Now, when you're drawing a heavy guy like this and you want to make him look real husky and you want to give him big shoulders, your natural tendency would be to make the shoulders coming out from here and just make them real big. But, you know, if you make them coming out of the ears like that, sort of like his head is slumping forward, he looks that much more husky. And let's make a V shape coming out of his chin like that, and his collar, and his tie, and his lapels. And let's put in his long arms and his fist, which this guy always has clenched. All right, and let's put his feet, which are also bow-legged, just like his dog's, and his shoes are facing in. And that's about it. You can add as much detail as you like, but I love to draw this sketch. So much you can do with a bulldog's face. Okay, let's move on. I got a great thing to do. Let's draw an elephant, and this is so easy. All you have to do is draw a couple shapes. Watch this. One shape like this looks like a television screen, and a circle right about there. Now, if you can do that, you've got the rest of it just about made. Now let's put his eyes in, which are going to be half circles like that. And here's his eyes. Eyebrows up. He's happy. Now for his trunk. Real loose, just like we did the snake. Squiggly line, and just come back. All in one motion. And some lines within the trunk. And there's a smile from his mouth, his lower lip. What could be easier? And then there's his chin. And now let's put his ears in, which are shaped like that. And on the bottom, sort of squiggly line like that. And the other one, which is a little bit behind, you don't actually see the whole ear. And let's put some detail within the ear. There's his head. Now let's go back into his body. Let's darken in this line, come back around, and let's put his little tail. Look at that, a little tail like that. Elephants have very little tails. I have a sister, Adrian, who used to tell me stories when I was a little guy about why elephants have little tails. And the reason is that when they were made, they used all the clay up, making the elephant, and all they had was a little bit left for the tail, and that's the reason why they have little tails. And yes, folks, after being raised on stories like that and others, I still managed to grow up fairly normal. What do you think about that? Okay, let's go back in and put some more detail in him. How about a shadow underneath him? And if the light is coming in from the top, let's have him some lines like this on the bottom, indicate some sort of roundness, like the bottom's not getting some of the light. And that's it. Maybe a ground line behind it, and there's your funny elephant. All right, let's work our way through the jungle. Let's draw a monkey or a gorilla. Now for this, we're going to start with a peanut shape. Or that could be a guitar too, couldn't it? All right, now, up high, because monkeys, they don't have much forehead. So let's just put a couple circles in like that and have his eyes kind of crossed. And his eyebrows are up, sort of in a well-meaning way. Now for his nose, small nose, with nostrils kind of angled in like that. And this is what makes a gorilla look like a gorilla, and that's a long upper lip like that, and a smile like this, all the way around, and his lower lip like that. And his ears. The ears are also up high. And let's put those little squiggles inside, like that we all have in our ears. And for hair, funny hair, going all different ways. Get real loose with it. Get that spontaneous look to your work. A couple hairs coming out like that. And just like with that big guy with his dog, we have his shoulders coming out above his chin. And that's it. Let's put some color into this fella. I'm going to use my chalks for this. All right, for the front part, let's use a little light peach like this. Let's put the color in real fast. And for his hair, let's use a little bit of brown. See, you don't want to just scrub color in. You want to kind of go along with the flow here. For his shoulders. A little bit of red maybe for his lower lip, for one. Maybe for his cheeks. That's it. He's great. Let's put a little blue in the background. By putting a little blue in the background like this, it sort of makes your cartoon character appear to come forward, bring him to the foreground, and pop out a little bit more. And there it is. That drews come out, okay? Let's move on now to the king of beasts, the lion. And the lion is a great drawing to do. I'm going to start with a diamond shape, right about here. Just like that. And let's put his eyes in. I'm going to move to my black marker on this one. Okay, which is going to be 2 circles, like that. And let's put his eyes in, just like that. And his eyebrows in, up, because he's happy. And a triangle. Okay? Just building shapes upon other shapes. Darken the bottom one in a little bit. And we're going to build it. There's maybe bags under his eyes. And from the bottom point of that triangle, let's make a real loose line for a smile like that. And on this bottom point, how about a beard? Maybe have his tongue coming out like that. Some whiskers, which are some circles like that. Some hairs coming out of him. And for his ears, watch this, just 2 little loops with some detail inside like that. And let's darken up that gray line a little bit. Now, for the mane, all you have to do is make real loose squiggly lines. You can't go wrong. Whatever you do is going to look good. Watch. Real loose, come around this side. Same thing. Little bumps. And a couple of little fast lines inside. And that's all there is to that. Now let's draw his body in, and that really is just a teardrop. Watch. See? Now let's put his front legs in, which are supporting his body. That's paw, which you separate in the center of that shape, and then it'll look more like a paw. Do the same thing over here. Now this leg, which is a little bit behind this one, let's make it look like it's in the shadow a little bit. And you can do that even with a marker, even though a marker won't get gray. It's black in there, but you can sort of indicate a gray by just making lines next to each other. Now for his back leg, let's have a big hump for his thigh. And here's his back paw. And let's just darken in this line a little bit. And a tail, real loose, just like the snake before, up and around. And his tail, which is also like a teardrop. And when you're doing cartoon hair, this is a hairy tail, you show where it starts and where it ends. You kind of leave that middle part alone so it has a highlight, maybe a shadow. And let's put a little color into it. And I'm going to use my chalks for this. Okay, how about a little bit of orange for his face and body. Just like that, real loose. Maybe a little bit of red for his tongue. His cheeks. And some brown for his mane. There you go. That looks great. I love it. I'm going to put a little bit of orange for his tail. Can't forget that. Let me just grab a little bit of green for maybe some grass. There you go. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe a little bit of blue, just to make him popping out. So he comes to the foreground a little bit. And that's about it. Now I'd like to show you what you can do with a cute little drawing of a lion like this, or any of your cartoons for that matter, and that's make your own greeting cards. And this is so much fun to do. What you do is get a piece of paper, or maybe something a little thicker, something like a cardstock, maybe a Bristol board, and cut it about 9.5 by 8 1/4, and then fold it like this, the long way, so it would be able to fit into a standard 9-inch envelope. Then what you might want to do is draw a cartoon on the front page, like I did with the lion, right about here, and put a caption on the top, which I wrote, "I'd be lying," and inside it says, "If I didn't say I love you." It could be a birthday card, it could be an anniversary card, it could be anything. It's your card. You can customize it. And on the back, I even put Blitz Originals. I put a price in, $1,000. I even put a fake computer code in there to make it look kind of funnier. And that's it. But I'll give you a word of warning. Once you start making these cards for your family and friends, they're going to come to expect them. You'll never get away with going to the store and buying them one again. As you can see, there's so many things that you can do with your cartoons, but the main thing is to just have fun with them. I'm Bruce Blitz saying thanks for being with me today, and keep on cartooning.
Blitz on Cartooning was funded in part by Koenig Art Emporium, with 120 stores selling traditional art supply product lines, children's supplies, original and reproduction art and gifts for the creative shopper, as well as a complete in-store custom framing facility. Koenig Art Emporiums, where creative people shop.
Call the toll-free number on your screen to order your VHS videocassette copy of Blitz on Cartooning. Let Bruce Blitz give you step-by-step instruction that will teach you how to cartoon. That's 1-800-441-3000 for Blitz on Cartooning. The price is $29.95 plus handling.